There's a moment, usually quiet, when you glance around your home and think, how did it get like this? Not from neglect, not from laziness, but from love and time. Over the years, life piles up. Birthday cards, spare cables, unread magazines, gifts you didn't ask for but felt too guilty to toss. It all gathers. And suddenly, the home that once felt like comfort starts feeling like weight. Heavy, cluttered, and a little suffocating. You want to clear it, but the thought alone drains you. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many older adults feel this exact invisible pressure, especially after 60. It's not just about organizing. It's about reclaiming space, mentally and physically, so you can finally breathe easier. What's the one room you quietly avoid because it overwhelms you just to step inside? Share below. We've all got one. Thelma never considered herself a hoarder. She was tidy, thoughtful, and organized. At least, that's what she told herself. A retired librarian from a quiet town in Indiana, Thelma had always believed in preserving things that mattered. Books she hadn't read in years, photo albums tucked into baskets, gifts she never used but couldn't bring herself to give away. Her home was full of meaning. But over time, it quietly became a maze of moments frozen in time. One afternoon, everything changed. She was walking through the hallway, carrying a cup of tea, when her foot caught the corner of an old shoebox, one she hadn't touched since the early 2000s. Inside, a tangle of VHS tapes from her daughter's high school plays. She hit the floor hard. Thankfully, nothing broke, but something clicked. Lying there on the rug, heart pounding, Thelma realized she wasn't living in a peaceful home anymore. She was tiptoeing through a museum curated by her past self, a place where the present was getting squeezed out by memories, what-ifs, and just-in-case clutter. She wasn't just surrounded by stuff, she was being buried by it. But she didn't want to do anything drastic. No black garbage bags, no trendy minimalism. She just wanted to feel safe, light, and at ease again. So she did something that many overlook. She started small. 9 clear, gentle steps, each one tailored for someone like her. Not trying to impress anyone, just trying to breathe better in her own space. These weren't complicated strategies. No expensive organizers. No color-coded storage bins. Just quiet shifts that added up. And within a few weeks, her house, her life, began to feel like hers again. That's what this video is about. The same 9 steps Thelma used, designed with older adults in mind, especially if you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure where to begin. The first step to reclaiming peace in your home doesn't involve a to-do list, a storage bin, or even moving your feet. It starts with something deeper, your gut instinct. The truth is, your body already knows what's weighing you down, long before your brain is ready to admit it. Thelma's turning point didn't begin with a drawer or closet. It started in the hallway. She stood at the entrance of her bedroom one morning, coffee in hand, and instead of walking in like usual, she paused. She looked not just at the room, but at how it made her feel. Her eyes immediately landed on a dusty stack of old catalogs and unopened mail that had been sitting quietly on the dresser for months. Nothing dramatic, just there, staring back, unmoved, unwanted, and yet untouched. Her shoulders dropped a little, her breath shortened. That tiny pile was stealing peace every time she passed by, and she hadn't even realized it. So here's your invitation. Stand at the entrance of a room you use often. Don't step in. Just stop. Look around gently like you're seeing it for the first time in a long while. What item or area makes your energy dip just by being there? Is it the basket full of mismatched chargers? The framed picture you've meant to fix for 3 years? An old lamp that hasn't worked since 2019? That reaction, that little sigh, hesitation, or internal flinch is the gut check. And that's your signal. You don't need to justify why it bothers you. You don't need to wait for a perfect time to deal with it. You just need to acknowledge it and take action. Remove it, rehome it, donate it. You've already done the hardest part, noticing. The best part? You only need to do this with one item to feel the shift. One item that's been silently draining you gone. And suddenly, that room starts to feel a little more yours again. What did your eyes land on first? Share it in the comments. You might help someone else realize they've been carrying the same weight. Step 2 isn't about cleaning or organizing. It's about protecting your independence. And it starts with something so simple, many seniors overlook it completely: your daily walking paths. Take a moment to think about your most frequent routes at home. From your bed to the bathroom, from your favorite chair to the kitchen, from the hallway to the front door. Now ask yourself, how many little detours or steps around have quietly crept into those paths? For Thelma, it was a leaning tower of old magazines beside her recliner, a folding table that no longer folded in the hallway, and a tote bag by the door that had become a catch-all for keys, coupons, and someday errands. None of it seemed serious at the time, until she started to notice something deeper. Her body was compensating. She leaned, she twisted, she shuffled. Every single day. Here's the reality. As we age, balance doesn't just decline from weakness. It declines from daily interruptions to natural movement. When we're forced to step sideways, inch around a pile, or pivot to avoid a stool, our confidence on our feet slowly erodes. And often, it's not one big fall that causes injury. It's dozens of tiny, awkward moments that weaken our natural rhythm and posture. So today, give yourself the gift of clear movement. Walk each major path in your home with fresh eyes. As you move, notice anything you need to adjust your body to avoid. A laundry basket that never gets put away. A lamp cord that snakes across the floor. A chair that's always just slightly in the way. Pick just 3 of them. You don't have to overhaul your space. Just remove or relocate those 3 obstacles. The difference won't just be physical, it will be emotional. You'll feel taller, more grounded, and more confident moving through your own space. Thelma called this her 3-step reset, and within days, her posture improved. Not because she exercised more, but because she wasn't constantly dodging her own belongings. What's one thing you keep stepping around that you've stopped noticing? Call it out in the comments. Sometimes naming it is the first step to clearing it. Let's talk about decision fatigue. Not the kind you feel in a grocery store, but the kind that creeps in when you open a drawer and see 10 pens you don't use, a stack of faded receipts, or a gadget you forgot you owned. As we age, the mental weight of deciding what to keep becomes exhausting. And for many seniors, that's the real reason decluttering feels impossible. It's not the stuff, it's the thinking. That's why step 3 is powerful. It removes the pressure. You're not deciding anything final. You're just creating a never touch again box. Here's how it works. Find a small, open box, something you can place where you'll see it often, like near your desk, by the kitchen table, or beside your favorite chair. Keep it visible, but non-intrusive. Now, whenever you touch something that surprises you, oh, I forgot I had this, and you realize you haven't used it in months or even years, simply drop it in the box. No debate, no guilt, no storytelling. If you didn't even remember it was there, it's not part of your present life. Thelma kept her box on a bench near the entryway. Within days, it held a broken umbrella, 3 duplicate tape measures, an old digital camera she didn't know how to charge, and a pile of unopened greeting cards from years ago. None of it bad, none of it useful. And once it was out of sight, she realized how much calmer she felt. This step isn't about purging, it's about clarifying, making space for what actually serves you today. Once the box is full, it leaves. No ceremony, no digging through it for last-minute rescues. It did its job and it goes. Here's the magic. When your brain isn't constantly being asked to assess, justify, or maybe later every object around you, you rest easier. You think more clearly, and you trust yourself more. So set up your box. Let it be a quiet place of release. You're not throwing things away. You're simply acknowledging, this no longer belongs in the life I'm actively living. What's one thing you already know would go in your box today? Let us know. Your comment might help someone else do the same. There's a quiet kind of guilt that lives in closets, especially after 60. It's not about messiness. It's about identity. That blouse you haven't worn in 10 years? It reminds you of a time when you used to dress up for the office. Those slacks that no longer fit quite right. You bought them for a wedding that passed long ago. And then there are the someday clothes. The ones we hold on to for a version of ourselves we may never return to. But here's the truth. Your closet should serve who you are now, not who you used to be. That's where step 4 begins, with one simple, personal question. If I had lunch tomorrow with someone I love, would I wear this? It's not about trends or size or occasion. It's about how you feel in your own skin today. Stand in front of your closet, not with judgment, but with kindness. Imagine meeting a dear friend, someone who lifts your spirit, for lunch. You're excited to be seen, to connect, to enjoy. Now, scan the clothes in front of you. Which pieces make you feel comfortable, confident, and truly yourself? And which ones make you hesitate, pull at the sleeves, sigh? Thelma used to keep 3 whole shelves of what-if clothes, formal blouses, old cardigans with pilling, trousers that fit only if she skipped breakfast. But when she began using this lunch question, something clicked. She realized most of those pieces weren't just old. They were symbols of old expectations. And letting them go wasn't a loss. It was a relief. So don't start with the entire wardrobe. Just choose a section or even 5 hangers. Pull out each item and ask, would I wear this if someone I love invited me to lunch tomorrow? If the answer is no, place it aside. Maybe it goes to a donation center, maybe to a niece, or maybe it's just time to say thank you and let it go. You deserve clothes that match your energy, your comfort, and your stage of life. Not the one from 20 years ago, but the one that still deserves beauty and ease today. What's one item in your closet that no longer reflects who you are? Share in the comments, and what you'd rather wear instead. Some items aren't just things, they're memories wrapped in fabric, metal, or paper. A brooch from your mother's dresser. A faded postcard from a trip taken decades ago. A sweater your partner once complimented. These objects seem harmless, even invisible at times, tucked away in drawers or boxes. But when it's time to declutter, they become the hardest to part with. Not because we need them, but because we're afraid to forget. Step 5 invites you to do something powerful. Honor the memory without keeping the object. Choose one sentimental item. It could be small, worn, or tucked away where no one else ever sees it. Hold it for a moment. Ask yourself not, should I keep this? But what is the story behind this? Write one sentence about it. Just one. Something like, my dad gave me this compass before my first solo trip in 1971, and I still remember the exact words he said. Or, this was the teacup I used every Sunday morning when the house was quiet and the sun hit the kitchen window just right. Then take a photo of the item, not to post online or catalog in an inventory, but to capture the feeling of the story. Now comes the choice. Either send it to someone you care about, your daughter, your niece, your old travel buddy, or save it in a small memory folder. That folder becomes your new keepsake collection. Digital, light, still meaningful. Thelma did this with a ceramic elephant from her late husband's office. It was chipped and dusty, but carried a story about their first apartment, a cramped desk, and a joke they shared for years. She wrote that story down, sent it to her granddaughter, and finally let the elephant go. In her words, I didn't throw away the memory, I passed it forward. Letting go doesn't have to mean losing. It can mean releasing something in a way that feels loving, deliberate, and complete. What's one item you've kept because of a memory? Can you tell us the story in one sentence? You may inspire someone else to do the same. The entrance of your home speaks louder than you think. It sets the emotional tone, not just for visitors, but for you. Every time you walk through your front door, your body takes in the scene before your mind even processes it. And whether you realize it or not, that first glance is either calming you or quietly wearing you down. That's why step 6 is about clearing the space that welcomes you home. Not the whole room, not the whole house, just the view from your front door inward. Here's what to do. Step outside your home, close the door behind you, and then open it as if you're a guest walking in for the first time. What do you see right away? Maybe it's a cluttered entry table with unopened mail, keys, a mask, and receipts. Maybe it's shoes scattered on the floor, a stack of reusable bags, or jackets piled over a chair. Maybe it's just a feeling of too much. This first impression matters, not for appearance, but for emotion. A cluttered entrance creates a low-grade tension. It can make your return feel like a burden instead of a relief. But a clear entrance? That tells your nervous system, you're safe. You're home. Thelma had a wooden bench just inside her doorway that had become a catch-all. Newspapers, mail, gloves, a broken flashlight, and 3 reusable grocery bags lived there year-round. It didn't bother her until she realized she avoided sitting there and never invited neighbors past the door. When she cleared it, wiped the surface, and placed just a cushion and a small bowl for her keys, she said it felt like her home exhaled. You don't need a decorator. You just need space. Visual space. Breathing room. So today, don't aim to tidy everything. Just clear the first thing your eyes land on when you walk in. That's it. That's the step. Because the moment your entryway feels light, the rest of your home starts to feel more manageable. What's the first thing you see when you step into your home? Tell us in the comments, and let us know what you plan to clear first. Step 7 is about reclaiming one of the most sacred spaces in your home, your chair. Not just any seat, but the one you naturally return to at the end of the day. Maybe it's by the window, near the TV, or beside a lamp where you read or rest. That spot is meant to be a place of ease. But for many older adults, it slowly transforms into something else. A mini storage unit, a dumping ground, a just for now holding space that never quite resets. So today, sit down. Yes, literally sit in your favorite chair. Then pause. Look around without moving anything. Just observe. What's within arm's reach? Are there 3 remotes, a stack of junk mail, unopened pill bottles, dusty coasters, half-read books, or maybe a shopping bag you meant to return? Now ask yourself, which of these things actually adds calm to my day? Which ones serve no purpose except to occupy space? Thelma's favorite chair sat beside a small side table with a drawer. Over time, it had become a magnet for clutter. Random coupons, expired medication, tangled charger cords, and notepads filled with outdated lists. She used to tell herself, I might need this later. But what she really needed was to feel at peace where she rested. So she simplified. She kept a soft blanket, a single book she was actually reading, her reading glasses in a small case, and a lotion she used nightly. That was it. The drawer? Empty except for a notepad and working pen. The difference in how she felt in that space was immediate. This step isn't about removing personality. It's about removing distraction. You're not erasing your life. You're curating your comfort. Because that chair isn't just a place to sit. It's where you relax, reflect, maybe even nap. It should feel like a retreat, not a reminder of things left undone. Sit in your chair and scan the space around you. What's the one item you know doesn't belong there anymore? Share in the comments. We all have one. Sometimes, the things that exhaust us the most aren't big or dramatic. They're small, everyday moments. Glancing at a messy bathroom counter while brushing your teeth, reaching for the light on a crowded nightstand, or setting a cup of tea down on a side table already covered in maybe later clutter. These little visual stresses accumulate, creating a quiet kind of chaos in your mind. That's why step 8 is about choosing just one surface to reclaim. Not a whole room, not a full cleaning session, just a single, visible surface that greets you daily. Start by picking the one that catches your eye most often. Maybe it's your nightstand, the last thing you see before bed, and the first thing when you wake up. Maybe it's the bathroom counter with half-used products, brushes, and items you no longer reach for. Or maybe it's a coffee table that's trying to juggle remotes, mail, tissues, coasters, and clutter all at once. Now, wipe it completely clear. Everything goes off, even if just for a moment. Then pause. Notice how the space looks empty, calm, open. That's the baseline you're aiming to keep. Next, ask, what have I actually used in the past 7 days? Not what you might use or meant to. What have you truly reached for, touched, or needed? Thelma chose her bathroom counter. It had become a lineup of old cosmetics, expired medication, and 3 different toothbrush holders. when she removed everything and only put back what she used that week. A soap pump, her daily moisturizer, and a small tray for jewelry. Her whole routine felt easier, faster, lighter. Here's the emotional magic. That one clear surface becomes a symbol, a daily reminder that you're in control of your space, that you deserve clarity. That piece can start with a square foot of order. This isn't about being perfect or polished. It's about creating one small visual breath of fresh air in your day. One space that's always ready to support you, not ask something of you. What's the one surface you see every day that could use a fresh start? Share it in the comments and tell us what you'll keep on it. We all have them, items tucked away in drawers or boxes, lovingly saved for someday. A bracelet you've been meaning to pass down, a recipe card in your handwriting, a cherished book, a teacup, or a well-worn tool your grandson once admired. You've told yourself you'll give it when the moment is right, maybe at a birthday, a wedding, or after you're gone. But what if the right moment is now? Step 9 invites you to take one of those meaningful, saved items and turn it into a living memory while you're here to witness it. Choose just one thing, something you've held on to because it holds a story, something you'd want a loved one to treasure, not because of what it is, but because of what it meant to you. Then write a short note, just a sentence or two. Your grandfather gave me this the day we moved into our first home. It brought me luck for 40 years. Or, this was the spoon I used every holiday morning to stir our special cocoa. I hope it stirs joy for you too. Now give it. Don't wait. Don't overthink it. Wrap it in love, not ceremony. Maybe you hand it to them over coffee. Maybe you drop it in the mail with a card. Maybe you just leave it on their kitchen counter next time you visit. Thelma had a small wooden music box that played the lullaby she used to sing to her daughter. She had planned to pass it on one day, but that day never came. After decluttering her guest room, she took the box, wrote the memory on a sticky note, and placed it in her granddaughter's hands during a weekend visit. The smile she got in return, she called it the best part of her entire year. By giving now, you're not losing anything. You're gaining connection. You're making sure that gift isn't buried in a box, but alive in the heart of someone who matters. You deserve to see the joy your memories carry, not just imagine it later. What's one item you've been saving? Who's it meant for? Let us know in the comments. This step might be the one that means the most. When Thelma first began, she wasn't trying to declutter, she was trying to breathe. Her home, once full of warmth and life, had gradually turned into a museum of maybe later. Each hallway corner, each overstuffed drawer, each unopened box felt like a quiet obligation. She wasn't lazy or disorganized. She was simply overwhelmed, and like many seniors, she thought her only two options were leave it all or live with it. But something shifted after that hallway stumble. The near fall over a forgotten shoebox wasn't just a wake-up call for safety. It was an emotional jolt. She realized she'd been walking around her memories instead of living inside them. She didn't hire a cleaning crew or haul in bins from a big box store. She didn't aim for trendy minimalism or strip her home bare. Thelma simply chose 9 intentional steps, each one focused not on getting rid, but on making space for peace. She cleared her walking paths, not just to prevent a fall, but to walk confidently without second-guessing her next step. She gave away one item she was saving and saw her granddaughter's eyes light up in real time. She took photos of keepsakes, told their stories out loud, and created something more lasting than any storage box ever could. Now, her hallway is open. Her favorite chair feels like a personal retreat. Her guest room welcomes family again, no longer blocked by extra bed sheets, paper stacks, or guilt. And every Thursday, her knitting circle meets in the living room, where once she felt too embarrassed to host anyone at all. And when someone recently asked if she felt like she'd lost anything, Thelma smiled and said, "I didn't lose anything. I gained peace." Her transformation didn't come from a dramatic makeover. It came from small, focused steps rooted in self-respect. Because aging well doesn't mean holding on to everything. It means holding on to what truly matters and letting the rest support your joy, not steal it. Have you had your Thelma moment yet? Tell us what you're clearing to make room for peace. You don't need to declutter your whole house today, but what you can do is take one gentle, powerful step toward peace. Maybe it's clearing your favorite chair. Maybe it's letting go of one item you've outgrown. Whatever spoke to you, start there. One action, one decision. That's how transformation begins. And when you do it, come back and tell us. Your story might be the encouragement someone else is waiting for. If this video helped lighten your heart or shift your perspective, hit that like button. Share it with someone you love who deserves to feel calm in their own space. And subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, because every step toward clarity is a step toward freedom.